You're probably doing something right now that quietly makes rich people richer, and they absolutely love that you never notice. Today, we're going to break that on purpose. Most people think the game is about working harder, getting a raise, maybe starting a side hustle. But there's a second game running underneath that almost nobody talks about. In this video, I want to show you the invisible system the top 1% uses to escape the treadmill, while everyone else just runs faster and stays stuck in the same spot. And here, on Dave's Dividend Lab, we don't just rant about the problem. We turn it into a plan you can actually follow step by step, even if you feel like you're starting from zero. So if you're serious about getting off the treadmill and building a portfolio that pays you, not the other way around, stick with me until the end, because the way you see money will change. Imagine this. You wake up, check your account, and your investments paid you while you slept. Not lottery money, not magic, just a system running quietly in the background, clicking forward every month. Now compare that with what most people live. You wake up, rush to work, get paid, survive the month, repeat. Maybe your salary grew, but your stress, bills, and lifestyle grew even faster. You work year after year, but your bank balance never really proves it. You feel like you're running on a treadmill, legs burning, heart accelerated, but when you look around, you are still exactly there. That treadmill feeling isn't because you're lazy or bad with money. It's because you are stuck inside the first money system, the one designed to trade your time for cash forever. In system number 1, the rules are simple. You work, you get paid. You spend, you hope things improve. There's no engine, no feedback loop, no structure that keeps building even when you stop. The wealthy don't live in that system. They might look like they're playing the same game, but behind the scenes, their money is following a completely different script, built around something I call the cash flow loop. The cash flow loop is not a stock tip, not a secret account, and not some complicated hedge fund strategy. It's just a repeatable way money flows through their life every single month. Once that loop is running, they stop relying only on their paycheck. Their time becomes less important than their system because the system keeps working even when they don't. There are 3 stages inside this loop. If you miss even one, you stay on the treadmill. But if you get all 3 working together, over time it feels almost unfair how fast your wealth grows. Stage 1 is the gateway, where money enters your life. Stage 2 is the multiplication engine, where money starts working. Stage 3 is the feedback loop, where returns create more returns, and the whole thing gains momentum. Let's start with stage 1, the gateway. This is the front door of your money. For most people, it's just one lonely door, a single paycheck from a single job that controls their entire lifestyle. They wake up, go to work, get paid, and everything they want or need squeezes through that one door. If something happens to that paycheck, the entire structure collapses in a few weeks. The wealthy treat the gateway differently. They don't depend on only one door. They build multiple streams over time. A job, a small business, dividends, interest, maybe digital products or freelance work. At the beginning, it still might be mostly one main source. That's normal, but the mindset is different. Every new skill, every project, every investment is a potential new door for money to walk through. But here comes the crucial difference. Most people, when money finally comes in, immediately upgrade their lifestyle. Bigger apartment, nicer car, more restaurants. That money never gets a chance to work for them. Rich people intercept the money before lifestyle gets a vote. The gateway doesn't dump straight into spending. It passes through a filter first, and that filter decides how much goes to the system before anything else. They don't necessarily live like monks. They just refuse to let their lifestyle sit at the front of the line. The system gets paid first, and their lifestyle survives on what remains, not the opposite. That leads us to stage 2, the multiplication engine. This is where the real magic begins, because this is the part almost nobody sees from the outside, but it's the entire engine of their wealth. Think of the multiplication engine as a machine you feed with a portion of your income every month, 10%, 15%, 20% or more, depending on where you are and how aggressive you want to be. That money doesn't go into random coins, lottery tickets, or hype trends. It goes into assets that actually produce returns. Broad index funds, dividend ETFs, strong dividend stocks, REITs. Maybe a small business or side project. Here on Dave's Dividend Lab, you know where my heart is. Dividend ETFs and quality dividend payers are perfect building blocks for a multiplication engine. because they give you something concrete. Cash flows you can see and track. But here's the secret. The exact assets matter less than the structure. What truly matters is that a consistent piece of your income is leaving the world of spending and entering the world of productive assets every month. The wealthy choose vehicles that grow and pay them, while most people choose vehicles that impress other people and drain them. That one decision silently rewires their entire financial future over the next decade. Now, you might think the story ends there. Invest money, get a return, feel smart. But that's still only half the loop. The part that really separates the wealthy is what they do with the returns themselves. That's stage 3, the feedback loop. This is where the systems of the rich become almost invisible. Because nothing dramatic seems to happen each month, but the numbers quietly become ridiculous over long periods. When their investments pay dividends, interest, or capital gains, they don't treat that money like found cash for vacations or gadgets. Instead, they send it right back into the multiplication engine. Every dollar of return becomes more fuel, more shares, more units, more ownership. The next time the market pays out, it pays on a slightly bigger base. That bigger base produces slightly bigger returns, which feed back again. At first, the growth looks boring. A few dollars, maybe tens of dollars. Not impressive at all. But over 10, 15, 20 years, that feedback loop builds something almost no salary increase can ever match. That is compound growth. Not just numbers getting bigger, but growth building on top of previous growth. The wealthy don't just invest money, they invest time inside a system that refuses to stop compounding. Let me give you a simple example, so this doesn't stay abstract. Imagine someone earning $50,000 a year. Nothing crazy, not influencer money, just a normal, decent income in many places. Most people at that level say, there's no way I can invest, I can barely survive. But imagine this person intercepts just 10% of their income, $5,000 per year, automated before it hits their spending account. Year 1, it's only $5,000 invested. You won't feel rich, but after 5 years, with modest returns, maybe they're sitting around $27,000. That's more than half a year of income already working on autopilot. After 10 years, that could be around $60,000. After 20 years, north of $150,000. After 30 years, you're talking about a portfolio crossing $500,000 from the same salary, same person. They didn't need a viral moment, they didn't need perfect timing. They just needed a loop. Intercept, invest, reinvest, repeat. That loop quietly pulled them off the treadmill and into a completely different financial trajectory. Now imagine someone else earning the same $50,000 with no loop. Every year the money comes in, gets spent, maybe a little saved, but there's no consistent engine. 30 years later, their net worth barely tells a story. Both had the same income. One built a system, the other built a lifestyle. One ends up with a machine paying them. The other ends up tired, wondering where all that hard work actually went. If you're getting value from this breakdown so far, this is a great moment to pause and make sure you're subscribed to Dave's Dividend Lab. Hit like and ring the bell, because we build these systems together every single week. Let's tackle the objections, because I can already hear them. Maybe you're thinking, that sounds great, but I can't even spare 10%. I'm behind on bills, everything is expensive, I don't have room for this. First, I hear you. This isn't about shaming anyone, but here's the uncomfortable truth. The loop rarely starts because you have extra money. It starts because you decide that a small percentage becomes non-negotiable. It might not be 10% at first. It might be 3%, 5%, or even a fixed amount like $50 or $100 a month. The principle is the same. Start tiny, but start consistently. When you automate that small percentage, your brain adjusts. Within a few months, your lifestyle expands around the lower number. You naturally tighten small leaks because there's simply less available to waste. On the other side, if you wait for a perfect moment when there's magically extra money, you'll wait forever. Expenses grow as fast as income. There is always a reason to postpone taking care of your future self. Maybe you're also thinking, it's too late for me. I'm not 20 anymore, maybe not even 30 or 40. But here's the thing, the best time was whenever you started. The second best, genuinely, is right now. Yes, starting at 50 looks different from starting at 20. But people underestimate what 10 consistent years of a loop can do, and they massively overestimate what sporadic attempts can do in the same period. The system doesn't care about your age, only about your consistency and time horizon. Maybe your loop focuses more on income-producing assets, like stronger dividend payers, instead of only long-term growth. That's still a powerful engine. Now let's answer a big question. If this cash flow loop is so powerful, why didn't anyone teach you this in school? Why isn't this on billboards and in commercials everywhere you look? Because the current economy works beautifully when you stay on the treadmill. Banks make money when you swipe the card and carry balances. Credit companies earn more when you revolve debt instead of paying everything off monthly. Retailers need you emotionally exhausted and impulsive, using spending as a reward after each exhausting paycheck cycle. None of these institutions are interested in you quietly diverting 10 to 20% into assets every month. If enough people built their own cash flow loops, dependence on debt would shrink. People would say no more often. They wouldn't need to finance every emergency or lifestyle upgrade. That would shift a lot of power away. So no, there isn't a conspiracy meeting in a dark room. But the incentives of the system absolutely don't encourage independent compounding investors. They encourage permanent, comfortable, well-behaved treadmill runners. The advantage of the wealthy isn't just knowledge, it's structure. They built a loop that protects their future from their impulses and from the constant pressure to consume everything they earn today. So, how do you actually build your own cash flow loop in the next 30 days, without needing a finance degree and without pretending you're suddenly going to wake up as a minimalist monk? Step 1. Audit your money flow. For the next 30 days, track every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. No judgment, no shame, just data. You can't fix what you refuse to see clearly. You will almost certainly find leaks you never noticed. Random subscriptions, delivery habits, impulse purchases, small luxuries that quietly add up. Most treadmill lives are held together by unexamined patterns, not by one huge catastrophic mistake. Step 2. Choose your interception point. Look at your average monthly income and decide on a starting percentage. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 5%. The key is that it's automatic and happens before you can touch it. Step 3. Pick a simple multiplication engine. A broad index ETF or a core dividend ETF is plenty for most people. You don't need 50 positions and complex charts. You need something diversified and boring that you can actually stick with. Step 4. Automate the transfer. Set up an automatic contribution on the same day your paycheck arrives. That way the loop gets paid before your lifestyle does, and you remove willpower from the equation completely. Step 5. Commit to the feedback loop. Reinvest dividends, reinvest interest, reinvest any returns instead of celebrating every payout as spendable income. Let your future self, not your current impulses, be the main beneficiary. For the first few months, you'll barely notice anything. After a few years, you'll start to see real numbers, and one day, you'll realize your portfolio has become an extra coworker, quietly working alongside you every single day. And here's the mindset shift that really changes everything. You are not just an employee, freelancer, or business owner. You are a system builder. Your job is to build a machine that reliably moves money from effort into assets. Every time you increase your income, you have a choice. Upgrade your lifestyle fully, or upgrade your loop. If your percentage to the system grows when your income grows, your future accelerates much faster than your present spending. Right now, you're either feeding the treadmill or feeding the loop. One makes your boss, banks, and brands richer. The other gradually makes you independent, patient, and calm when everyone else is panicking. So here's my challenge for you. Tomorrow morning, track your money for a single day. Just one. Write down every dollar that flows in and out. Once you see it on paper, you'll never unsee where the treadmill lives. Then, come back to this video and drop a comment. Tell me what percentage you're committing to intercept and what your first big milestone is. 10,000, 25,000, 50,000 in your cash flow loop. If you're ready to leave the treadmill behind and start building a portfolio that silently works for you, make sure you're subscribed to Dave's Dividend Lab. Hit like, ring the bell, and binge the videos waiting for you next.